Hey everybody, I'm going to be explaining the Ursoc fight in detail and all the mechanics for you. This is actually a really easy fight. Most of them are fairly easy in Emerald Nightmare. I mean, there's a few mechanics that you might have to work on a little bit, but Ursoc is a big bear. Obviously, if you did the Druid quest line, you know all about him. You might have remembered him from I think Grizzly Hills as well. So this fight has just a few mechanics. As you can see over here, there's only 5 total mechanics, and 2 of them are basically the same thing in a way. You're going to have 2 tanks tanking him. You're going to want your raid set up in 2 groups, so it doesn't matter a ton what's in each group. You're going to be in range of each other for heals and whatnot. Set up your groups the best way possible. So pink square is a group, and this yellow star looking thing is a group. And then you're going to have your 2 tanks up, and he's going to be facing towards the tanks, obviously. So first, I guess we'll just go in order here, and he's going to overwhelm and rend flesh. These are powerful debuffs that he puts on the tank, and they're going to do a tank swap, so that way that they don't have too many stacks of one or stacks of both, etc. They're going to be taunting off to mitigate that damage a little bit there. It's fairly simple, just a standard tank swap. They don't have to do anything much special except for keep the boss in place. The hardest mechanic, if you could call it that, is focused gaze. What's going to happen is he's going to focus a player. And so let's say it's a player in this pink square group. That player is going to run back to this blue rectangle ish straight in front of the boss between the groups, and what you're going to designate is back and forth. Either square or star are going to go stand somewhere in this arrow here in between, and they're going to take a charge from Ursoc before he gets to the person that's in the rectangle. So left to right is how I would do it. So we would designate square groups going to run into the arrow first, or mark whatever you use there, and star group's going to go second, and then repeat square star square star. So square person got the focus gaze, runs to the rectangle. The rest of his group is going to run right here, somewhere between Ursoc and the rectangle. Ursoc is going to charge through them, putting a debuff on square group, except for the person targeted. He will not have the debuff, I do not believe. After that, you're going to get knocked back. You're going to run back to your square. You're going to DPS a little bit more. Now, let's say someone from square group gets it again. Run back to the rectangle. This time, star group. You're going to run to this arrow, this marker, whatever you choose to use. You're going to run here, and you're going to take the charge. And it could literally be someone from the same group every time, or it could switch. It could, I mean, you never know what it's going to be. It's going to be one of these two, and you're going to just be running back here. And the biggest thing you have to switch is which group is taking the damage, because you will be killed if you take it twice in a row. The way I found it easiest to do it is to literally call out by your marker. I believe we use square and X or something, or skull and X as our groups, and I would just say skull group, X group, and they would run in and take the damage. It's an easy mechanic if you get it down. You don't on normal mode, you don't need everyone to get it right in your group, depending on the size of your raid. I think we had 14. We had everyone pretty much hitting it, but probably if you had 6 and 6, you could probably get away with having maybe 4 or 3 of them. It's just going to do a lot more damage the less people you have. Which brings us to Roaring Cacophony. I don't know how to say that. Sorry. It's just an AoE. He does the entire raid. I think he puts a debuff on you that makes every time he does it hurt a little bit more. And this fight is kind of a DPS check. When he gets to 30%, he's going to go into a frenzy. He's going to continue doing the mechanics. He's just going to be hitting a lot harder on the tanks and probably on his other ability as well. So you're going to want to pop your Bloodlust, Heroism, Time Warp, whatever you have to pop at that point. You're going to pop it and burn him down that last 30%. It's a fairly simple fight. Just do the mechanics right, and you'll be fine. I'll say for tanks again, yeah, you're going to be taunt switching. Try really hard just to stay still. You can even stand on top of each other. You can stand on top of each other, and that way when the boss charges down here to the rectangle, when he comes back, he can be standing in roughly the same exact place. So that way your groups do not have to move. If you use the markers on the map while you're raiding, it's nice to be able to have some consistency with your groups so they don't have to move. Other than that, it's a really easy fight. I'll go everything real quick one more time. So you have Overwhelm, Run, Flesh. Those go onto the tanks, and they swap every time they get one. I believe it starts with Overwhelm. The other tank will then take Run, Flesh. The other tank, when Overwhelm is up, will take another Overwhelm. There were times when our tanks had both of them on them. It didn't seem to be a huge issue on normal mode. Focus Gaze, run to your rectangle, whatever target marker you decide, and then switch groups running to block the path of Ursoc in this general arrow direction. Roaring Cacfeet is just raid-wide damage that you can't get rid of. Although I will say, though, I need to point this out. The reason why everyone is right here next to the boss is that you need to be within 25 yards of him. So that is an important thing that I left out the first time. And that has to do with the Roaring Cacophony, is that you need to be within range of him, or else I think it does more damage, or maybe that's what puts the debuff on you. But just stay in range of him. Whether you're melee or range, you're going to be right here on top of him, and then everything will be fine with that. Don't worry about it when you're running out. That's completely okay to run out of range at that point. He will not do the roaring thing directly after his charge, but he can do it fairly soon after that, so you just need to get back to your groups. And then Blood Frenzy is the Soften Rage. At 30%, he starts doing more damage, and you're going to need to pop everything you can and burn him down. Good luck to everyone with this. If you subscribe to my video, I have a lot of WoW content, and I will be explaining all the bosses that I can through this expansion. Everyone have a great day.